Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, as usual, I'm doing a reading with my own tarot deck, so the cards that you see are from this deck. So Sagittarius, it seems like you are going through a happy phase, but you're not the rule. Actually, you're the exception to the rule, and everything that you're seeing around you, it's like completely opposite to the good feelings that you're having from your point of view, from your perspective. And I feel like that's because you are happy, or your source of happiness is indeed the reason why you are seeing differently from the rest of the people. It's like the reason why you're happy is because you're seeing differently than everybody else. But that is also why you're happy. You see, it's like you're happy to know, to consciously know that you don't think like everybody else, that you're not following the masses in a sense, that you are distinguished, that you are thinking with your own mindset. It's like you were able to detach yourself from the norm, from what is typically seen as, this collective unconscious. Actually, we are talking about collective unconscious in your reading, and how beauty is distorted in this collective unconscious, and how happy you are to realize that, Sagittarius, that because the rest of the people, the rest of the world, society in general, sees things or worships things or goes in the direction that wants to follow a certain standard of beauty or a certain pattern of, that confirms what is beautiful or not, or that dictates what is beautiful and what is not, you're happy to see things differently. You're just happy to know that seeing things differently helps you to see how distorted things are overall, because it's like you have this huge realization about how joyful it is to think differently. So we're starting with the Sun card. This, what I heard with this card was that song, "Oh Happy Day, oh Happy Day." Okay, so I could dance forever with just this card, because the way that this card fell was just so happy, and just like, this day when you're just happy, you're just enjoying the moment, you're just grateful for being alive, for being awake, for being conscious. So there are only reasons to celebrate you being aware of where you are, who you are, what is happening around you. And I feel like you enjoying this moment, enjoying this insight, enjoying this awareness of yours is helping you to see something that goes in another direction. Because with the Knight of Swords following, but also this card helps to give the context that I'm seeing. The Eight of Swords. So this is what is representing the collective, and this is you here, Sagittarius. You see how all of the swords are pointing in this direction, right? So it's like it's not seeing this, what you're seeing. You are straight looking to this, right? It's like your helmet is facing the sun, is looking towards the sun. But the masses, or society, or the collective, the community that you're part of, they're all following, because sometimes I see the eights also, especially the Eight of Swords, as like a stream. I know that, being a stream is connected to the water element, but it's like this current that is flowing. It's like the subtle flow of the stream. This is what I'm picking up with the Eight of Swords. So it's almost like this collective unconscious that is asleep, with the Moon card following it. So you see here how you are focusing towards the sun. This collective unconscious overall is asleep. It's like they are, it's like, you know, like the moon controls or guides the tides. There's something, well, something that I should mention about this. When I say collective unconscious, I'm not judging if it's good or bad to be awake or asleep. It's just, what this is talking about is like just two ways of being in the world, two ways of having awareness of the world, right? Here is one that is very singular, one that is very luminous. Here is one that is very group. It's like it's group focused, right? It's like this flock of birds, or, you know, group of fish. How do you say the collective of fish? You know, many fish together, you know, swimming together, right? You know, just yesterday I was watching this video clip by one of for one of the new songs that one of my favorite singers just launched, just released. So it's the same video for two different songs that were reimagined for piano. So it's just the most gorgeous thing, the sound and sound waves. And it's like those birds that, you know, fly together and they create those amazing shapes that, you know, it's just this spectacle to see from afar. But really, it's like they are one organism, that it's like it's made up by many tiny individuals, right? So this could be seen as this collective unconscious. It can be also beautiful, and most of all, what I wanted to say about this moon card coming after is that they are protected. It's not because they are asleep that they are vulnerable, because sometimes I see the moon card as the mother. So the mother is taking care of those who are asleep, and the ones who are awake, it's like, because I'm seeing this as like, you know, an open eye, right? So it's like you're able to see, to have, you know, something that the sun is bringing more and more, this 360 degree vision or ability to perceive. So because you're focusing here, it's almost like now you can choose the direction through which you see the world, you want to see the world. It's like you can choose your lens, you can choose your angle. Because it's almost like you were following this same train of thought or this same direction, but for some reason it's like you got stranded, or you got curious, to be honest. It's not like you got stranded or abandoned or anything like that. There's something about the sun that was pulling on you, so it made you look towards it, right? So those people here, I want to say, which seems to be a larger collective. And you know what, Sagittarius, I almost did this as a collective reading, but I just want to stick with you because I feel like you are already so open to the entire world. It's like your nature is to lead, how do I say this? Lead a life of adventures. I hope that makes sense. So it's like you are the exception to the rule, because I want to say it's like you have this natural ability to be part of many different groups, many different collectives. That's the reason why I feel like it's almost like you enter a certain collective, a certain group, a certain community that is asleep. However, they are protected, they are being taken care of. And it's like you enter there, but then suddenly you have this insight, you have this epiphany, and it's almost like you have to go somewhere else. You have to see things from a higher perspective, from a much more conscious perspective, right? So there's this big contrast between you being very different from the rest, right? And I feel like the realization that makes you turn, or simply the curious thing that catches your attention to look towards this sun, because you want to feel the warmth. And by that I mean you want to be happy, right? It's like here, it's almost like it's interesting because the moon today for you in this reading is bringing a lot of like this foggy day. It's like here you want the warmth, you want this sunshine. These ones, it's almost like they are in this what is the word, when they are asleep, but they're stasis, something like that. When they were put to sleep, perhaps for their own good, for their own protection, right? um, but it's only when each one is ready, like you seem to be right now, to wake up and look towards the sun, or to go towards this more happy state of being, or this more aware and conscious state of mind, is that it's almost like I don't know if that's the right word, is what I just heard. Lethargy. You know, it's almost like when you are asleep, but it's like everything is it's in slow motion, right? This is how I'm seeing this. Um, for the protection of these ones who are asleep. So it's like sleepwalking. There is a mother figure, energetically speaking, that is taking care of the ones who are sleepwalking, right? You don't need that very much, because it's like you have your own protection here, because your consciousness is what is protecting you now that you're awake. You see what I mean? So the bottom row here of 3 cards ending this part of the reading is talking about how bigger than you this is. It seems like, you know, at first this can be seen or perceived in a very clear way in regards to a certain group of people. So you being very, well, you are coming with the Knight of Swords. So you were once part of this group, part of this collective, not feeding into the belief of the masses, but just following along, right? I'm not saying that you were feeding it per se, but it's like perhaps maybe because before you were also asleep, it's like you weren't questioning it. But then when this ignites your curiosity and calls you, it's like you realize how different you are from these ones, but also coming from the same place. So similar but different, right? But in a smaller context. Later on, it seems like this grows, and that's the reason why I feel like you have this ability from, you know, to go from one group to the next, to the next, to the next, because it's like you're going to see this throughout your world, and perhaps even have this larger epiphany, this bigger aha moment, that this is not just something that happens to you personally, but it's something that is happening collectively, because we're ending with the World card. But before that, after the moon, we have the 9 of Wands. And maybe you know this already about this card to me, how it symbolizes how the same thing can have 2 or, you know, even many different ways of seeing this one thing. So I would say that this 9 of Wands is the same path that those here who are experiencing the 8 of Swords, the traditional meaning of the 8 of Swords. So I don't want to be that dramatic and say like a horrible path or a painful path, but just a foggy one of lethargy. I hope I'm saying that word correctly, of stasis, of sleepiness. Oh, these words in English. Okay, so 9 of Wands. Traditionally, those who are here could see the 9 of Wands as the traditional meaning of the 9 of Wands, meaning of hardship, of burdens, of challenges, of loneliness, despite being together, following the same flock of birds, the same mass, right? It's like being alone or feeling alone in the middle of a huge crowd, right? This could be how they see this. But you, because it's like you are seeing from a higher perspective, I want to say, just because you are more awake. You are awake. It's like you are looking towards the sun, therefore you're looking towards the source of light that illuminates things a lot more clearly than the moon. After all, the moon is only seen because of the rays of the sun, right? Because it reflects this illumination from this source of light. So the ones who are here, it's like the myth of the cave by Plato. So there's something that they are seeing just the reflection. They are protected by the fact that they are seeing just, you know, the reflection or the shadows of, you know, a projection of the truth, a projection of the true light. So you are looking towards the true light. Therefore, you can see this for truly what it is, which to me is this path of flowers. So, but you can also feel as lonely as them. This is the interesting thing, because to me, the nines are the individual path. So you are singled out. It's like you don't feel like you fit anymore, or you're just not wanting to stay asleep. So therefore you pick up and you just, you know, you're detaching from that. You are swimming in another direction. You're flying in another direction. But you're going solo in a sense. So here there is perhaps the protection of fitting into a larger group or belonging to a group, even though the ones here are all asleep. So it is a solo journey for everyone. Whether you are, you know, taking this chance and going on your own towards the sun, towards the happiness, towards the warmth, or you are part of this larger collective or this smaller collective, however you see the Eight of Swords, but you're still feeling alone because you're asleep and you don't know that there are others there asleep with you, right? So this could be the feeling of not understanding or not seeing that everything is connected, how it is, and at the very end it is coming here very clearly. But this distortion is because the moment that you look towards this path, towards this field, because you're looking from this sun's perspective, it's like you see this path of flowers, and because these ones here are all asleep, they don't see a thing. They only see burdens. They only see hardship. They only see challenges. So either way, whomever is looking at this is going to feel lonely, but, well, it's going to feel in solitude, because you're deciding to see this solitude in this perception of how this path is so full of blossoms and flowers about to bloom, because you see the potential. They are also going to feel in solitude or in loneliness because they're only going to see the muddy road ahead. You see what I mean? So either way, it's going to feel like all of you are alone, but that's just the distortion of beauty, because here we have the Empress, and the Empress came upside down, and this was just talking about beauty being distorted, beauty being upside down. So it's being turned on its head, because right now I feel like it's a very fresh new perspective, because it's like you have just turned towards the sun. It's like it's perhaps very recent that you have chosen to walk away from the Eight of Swords, from this collective who was still asleep, right? So you have this joyful feeling, you have this happiness in you, and you want to keep on seeing that. But the more that you see how happy you are, you see how perhaps unhappy everyone else around you is. And I feel like that's the realization, that in this distorted reality where everyone is asleep, beauty is not really perceived. Beauty and abundance, because, you know, the Empress to me is the card of abundance. And it's interesting because this is also the card that represents motherhood. But it's like it's almost like when this mother is in charge of taking care of the kids, in a sense, this mother cannot take over. So it's like, it's almost like the moon, when the moon is in charge. So this could be like, the traditional message about the moon being the illusion, the moon being this mysterious, unconscious, collective unconscious. So it's only when you choose to see the Nine of Wands, which is, I feel like, what is happening to you right now. When you choose to see perhaps Mother Earth as the new mother who is going to take care of us, then we don't need to be asleep being taken care of by the moon. So you see the difference? It's like, who is the mother that is in charge? The one who keeps us all asleep. It's not that it's like their intention to keep us asleep, but it's like they're still protecting us even if we are asleep. You see the difference? But when we are awake, there is no need more for the moon to keep on taking care of us through this dream state, through this illusion that, this reality can be, or can be perceived as. It can be something very fruitful. It can be something very beautiful if one chooses, like you are, Sagittarius, to choose to see this path as this path of flowers, holding all of the beauty. But it's only when beauty is restored, I want to say, that this could permeate the world. Because it's like, and that's when you have this big realization, I want to say, that actually this is not just distorted in your small group, in your small family, in your small community. It's like it's spread worldwide. And I feel like the reason why this is coming for Sagittarius, and this is why I wanted to keep this as a Sagittarius reading, is because Sagittarius is so adventurer, it's such like this traveler, this curious traveler, that it's like you are the one who has this leadership to face towards something that is against the norm, that is like it's seeing something that nobody else is seeing. So perhaps you're going to be the one who points out how there is another mother, Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, the planet itself, that can and will sustain us with a lot of abundance. But this needs to be corrected. This needs to be turned upright, because right now, because beauty is distorted, perhaps we're talking about our values, right? Because the Empress here is connected to Venus, and Venus in astrology talks about our values. So the values in the planet, in the world, in society, in humanity, they're all turned upside down. So until we turn it upright, this is the Mother Moon is taking care of the children of the world, humanity, the ones who are asleep, the ones who are following the tide or being guided by, this collective unconscious. So you see that very clearly. And I feel like, because it ends here with the world, it's like that big epiphany. If it started with you already having this epiphany that sparks your curiosity, the more you look toward it, the more you experiment perhaps with more possibilities of seeing this same thing through many different perspectives. Because also you see how here each square, it's like a facet of a diamond. So it's like you're choosing different angles to see the same situation playing in different places, in different groups, in different situations, in different contexts. But this big epiphany about how beauty is distorted is what is keeping us from seeing all the potential that there is, even in challenges, or what ones perceive as challenge, right? So Sagittarius, I am going to pull more cards for you, as well as the runes, the astrological runes. So if you want to join me in the extended, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find the link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.